And then once the hips reach the heels, you might wish to separate the knees a little. You might add now a little movement. Just noticing the flow of energy in that pelvic region. You might feel into the hip flexors. Just noticing that gentle movement side to side. And then after a few breaths, when you're ready to walk the hands around to the right, just go ahead and creep them all the way around to the right. Let's take a moment here, extending through your left fingertips a little more, lengthening through the left side of the body. Just taking some natural rhythmic breaths, noticing the space between the ribs on the left side that you're creating. Full deep breaths in. And as you exhale the breath, maybe reach the fingers a little longer, or your option might even be to press the left hand over the right. Take 3 more breaths, inhaling. Soft, gentle exhalation, emptying the lungs before breathing in again. Noticing the breath as it moves into the side body. As you exhale, what are you clearing and releasing? Explore 1 more breath. Empty the lungs before moving. On an inhalation, come back to center. And then on your exhalation, taking the hands over to the opposite side on the left. So just taking a moment there, reaching through the right fingertips, belly perhaps over the thigh. Keep lengthening through the right side of the body by reaching those fingertips long. And then just notice how it feels on this side. It might feel a little different. Noticing the side waist, the space between the ribs, the intercostal muscle. Notice your breath as you breathe in. Notice your breath as you breathe out. Is there a little restriction of breath? Complete 3 more rounds on your own. Sometimes it's a little challenging to breathe in a lateral flexion, so just observe. Count your 3 breaths. You might start to engage your ujjayi breath, that sound in your throat. When you've completed 3, come back to center. From this position here, we're just going to reach the fingers long, then just rise up to hands and knees. Adjust the knees under the hips. And then as you inhale, just come to an upward facing cat, opening up through the heart space. Belly is floating towards the earth as the tailbone lifts. As you exhale the breath, draw the belly in, press the floor away, bring your chin to your throat, pubic bone really pulls in. And then this time bend the elbows a little, dive forward and through as you come up. As you exhale the breath, a little bend of the elbows and then around and then straighten. So getting more into the upper part of the back this way. Continue cat-cow really slowly with your own breath. Being aware of the sensations and the movement, not drifting off. Staying present, connected to the earth through the hands, feet, tops of the feet and shins. And then just complete 3 more. This time as you exhale, bring the tongue to the chin and hold the breath out. Wait for the breath in and then once again let it flow naturally, perhaps pause at the top. Lion's breath, Simasana. Empty the lungs, poke tongue to chin. If you need to cough anything out, cough it out. There's 1 more tongue to chin breath coming into that lion's roar. Exhale and hold the breath out for 5, for 4, for 3, 2, and 1. Gently come back to neutral. We're going to curl the toes under. We're going to walk the hands in a little, or maybe even up onto the thighs. So toes are curled under. Get the little toe involved as well if you can. So coming into toe taps, so really feeling the weight of the body onto the heels, noticing the toes getting a nice release. If it becomes too strong at any point, you can come forward, you can place a bolster in front or even a couple of blocks, or you can come upright. So we are going to stay here for a little while. I'll be your timekeeper. You might bring the hands on the thighs or palm down or palm up. And then just join your thumbs and your index fingers together, whether the palms are up or down. And then just see if you can feel the energy of the thumb and the fingertip touching as we come into Gyan Mudra. Breathing in and softly breathing out. And then we're just going to gently tilt the right ear to the right shoulder. So just leaning a little. So getting that lateral flexion in the side of the neck. Just as we did in the side body, we're just experiencing that release through the neck as well as the feet. Take a breath in. And a breath out. Come back to center, inhaling, still keeping the thumb and index fingers connected. As you exhale, drop left ear to left shoulder. Keep pulling the right shoulder and left shoulder down to get the length through the right side. Take a full deep breath in. Exhale all of the breath out. As you bring the head back to center, release the arms out wide and up. Inhale, untuck your toes. And then as you exhale, gently come to sit on your heels, bring your hands to your heart. If it's not comfortable to sit on the heels, you can place a block between the buttocks and the shins. Pause here. Just notice the release of the feet, the toes. Breathing softly, gently in and out. Reminding yourself of your intention, staying present, staying aware of your breath. Gently blink your eyes open. If you've got anything in front of you, also just remove it. Circle the arms out wide and up. As you exhale, step your right foot forward to the right corner of the mat. Release the hands towards to frame the front foot. And then as you inhale, reach the right arm up. As you exhale, circle it back and down. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, back and down. If your left hand needs some height, bring a block underneath or a blanket. Inhale, forward, up. Exhale, back and down. Do that one more time. This time when the arm reaches back behind you, hold it there. Stay there, or maybe bend the back knee, catch a hold of the foot, pull the heel in towards the buttocks, and maybe just add a little rotation here. So if you can hug the inner right thigh into the midline as you rotate the chest. 3 deep breaths, inhale. Exhale for 1. Soft and gentle for 2. Or 1 more breath. 3. Release the foot without flicking it away. Control the descent. Curl the back toes under. Lift the back knee. Reach the right arm up. Just hold it here as you hug the knee into the inner, to the midline, so towards the inner shoulder of the left. Reach all the way up. Inhale. As you exhale, release the hand down to the earth. Step back, downward facing dog. Take a little pedal out through your feet. If you're not feeling down dog today, come to child's pose. Know that that's your go-to. Just take a moment here, bending, straightening into the knees, maybe both together. Just have a little play, explore, maybe swivel toes to one side, bending the knees deeply. This is also getting into the side body if you are with me and spinning the toes and heels in opposite directions. You might want to explore that again a few times. Then we are going to take a flow. So we'll bend the knees, come forward to plank, meeting there when you're ready. Holding in your plank, breathing, finding strength. The knees are there if you need. If the knees are off the earth, press your heels away from your heart, pull your crown forward, inhale. As you exhale, lower your knees, untuck your toes, chest and chin hovering off the earth. As you inhale, press yourself back up. As you exhale, hover the chest and chin off the earth. Inhale, press yourself back up. Exhale, hover the chest and chin. This time, peel yourself through into cobra. Inhale, breath. As you exhale, press back, child's pose, back to our home base. Take 3 deep breaths here. Observe how you feel. The heart beating, the warmth starting to build in your body. Full deep breaths. Start to hear the sound of your breath, your ujjayi breath. There might be 1 more breath here. As you inhale, zip the belly in, slide your fingers to your knees, and then rise up onto the shins, circle the arms out wide and up. As you exhale, step the left foot towards the left corner of the mat, release the hands to frame that front foot. Lift the left arm up, inhale. Just pausing there for a moment, feel that slight rotation. Hug the knee in towards the midline. And then from there, we're just going to circle the arm back and down. As you inhale, it's forward and up. Real slow and conscious of the shoulder. Exhale back and down. So not rushing, but feeling the body, feeling into the right hip flexor. The next time the arm circles behind you, keep it reaching behind. Your option is to stay or try bending the back knee. If you've got a strap or a scarf, you can always hook the toes. Sometimes the knee wants to wing out a little here. For the practice of today, we're just hugging the knee in towards that right shoulder. So really grounding down through your left big toe mound, the center of the heel and the base of that pinky toe. Rotating the chest as you breathe in and out for 1, for 2, slow deep breaths, just counting 3 breaths. When you've completed 3 breaths, slowly release the foot, curl the toes under, lift the back knee, reach that right arm up. Sorry, left arm up, right hand is down. Hug that knee in, feel that rotation, feel the strength here. Then as you exhale, bring the hand down, step back, downward facing dog. You can stay in down dog or take a flow, bend knees and wave the spine forward to plank. You can lower your knees, or some of you might want to stay with a straight leg option, chaturanga. Use your breath in, come to a little cobra, maybe an upward facing dog. As you exhale, take it straight back to downward facing dog. Take 3 deep breaths. Maybe poking the tongue to the chin. Spread the fingers wide, feet a hip distance apart, heels descending to the earth. 1 more breath. From here, we're going to tiptoe our way to the top of our mat. And we're going to find a rag doll. So separate your feet hip distance apart. Grab a hold of the wrists or elbows. Adjust the feet as wide as feels comfortable. And then just dangle. Side to side, forward, back, shake, nod the head, make some sounds, some horse lips. So just feel your body, feel the hamstrings, feel the weight of your head pulling you down, feel the spine. Notice if you're holding and tensing, see if you can really release and relax in this one. Notice if you're gripping the toes onto the floor, onto your mat. You might want to shift forward and back a little, shifting back, lifting the toes, spreading them wider, and then placing them down. Maybe noticing how that gives you a little more support so you don't topple on forward. Just dangle here in stillness now. Just be still. And just feel if the weight is equally distributed between the left and the right. And whether you're feeling a different sensation between the left side of the body compared to the right. So you might notice the knees are generously bent or their legs might be straight. You might feel it deeper on the left side compared to the right, or vice versa. Notice if you're holding any tension in the neck. The weight of the head should cause you to feel that release through your spine. Just take 5 more breaths here. Your ujjayi breath, that sound of the ocean, might help. If you're not familiar with it, imagine you're fogging up a mirror with your mouth closed. If you're not sure, a few rounds with the mouth open just to get that sense. When you've completed 5 rounds of breath, and I'm sure we're still completing those breaths if we're breathing slowly, we're going to release the hands to the hips. And we're going to rise on up, begin to gaze forward. Complete the 5 breaths before rising up. Take your time with a flat back. See if you can come up. Keep the hands at the hips. Then just take a supported back bend. You might press the thumbs into that lower back area. You might get a nice little massage there as you press the flesh of the butt down a little and lengthen through the lower back. You might take it even further back. So really opening up through the abdominal wall, the stomach meridian. And then just slowly come back to a neutral position. Release the hands beside you and just pause. Come to what we call rebound, the stillness. Just noticing the front line of the body, the back line of the body, and the balance between the two. Let the fingers drip towards the earth. The crown lengthens to the ceiling. As the fingers pull down to the earth, notice if you can create space between your shoulders and your ears. Feel that space, belly zips in. Tailbone lengthens to the earth as the pubic bone moves to the navel. From here, blink your eyes open. Just circle your arms out wide and up. Try to avoid the movement of your rib cage. As you exhale, circle the arms back and down. So there's not a sway through the body. We're drawing everything in. It's just the arms that are moving and floating. Inhale, arms reach. Just noticing if you can slide your ribs to your hips when you breathe in. So we're keeping the ribs pulling down, creating that length. Exhaling, arms sweep on down. We'll do that one more time. This time when the arms reach the ceiling, see if you can press your palms together. We're going to take an interlace of the hands if that works for you. Press your palms towards the ceiling. Take a little lean towards the right, a little lateral flexion here. You can turn the chin towards the left armpit. Notice that left side of the body again. And then come back to center and taking it gently to the opposite side, to the left. Notice the right side of the body. Just take a few breaths, maybe turn the chin to that right shoulder. And then come back to center. This time, right hand grabs the left wrist, left palm faces up. And then gently pull the left wrist to the right. Maybe you create more of a lateral flexion. Take a breath in and a breath out. Explore 3 more breaths. If you're struggling to breathe, come up a little. You want to be able to breathe effortlessly. Count your 3 breaths on this side slowly. When you complete, come back to center. Switch over. Left hand, right wrist, right palm presses to the sky. Then pull gently over. Breathing in and out. Really breathing into the space between the ribs, the side body. 3 deep breaths. Remember, at any point, if you're struggling to breathe, perhaps you've come a little too far. When you complete 3 breaths, come back to center, press palms, inhale, take a little back bend. As you exhale, bend the knees, bring the hands through the center line of the body, fold forward, Uttanasana. There's a halfway lift on the in breath. Forward fold on the out breath. Circle the arms out wide and up. Inhale, catch a hold of your right wrist. As you exhale, this time straight over to the left. And as you inhale, come center, switch wrists. Exhale over to the right. Inhale, come center, press palms, lift up, lean back a little. Exhale, fold all the way down to the earth. Halfway lift, inhale. As you exhale, step the right foot back, followed by the left. Come straight to plank. Knees or straight legs shift forward. Exhale, low plank, chaturanga. Elbows shave the rib cage. If you're coming to cobra, belly is down, elbows are bent. Upward facing dog, come to stand on the tops of the feet, straighten arms so the thighs are lifted. Exhale, either back to child's pose or downward facing dog. Take 3 deep breaths. I like to lift the heels on the breath in, expand my lungs and ribs. And then you can find that lion's roll. That's optional as you press the heels to the earth. Inhale. 1 more round of breath, spreading fingers wide. Empty the lungs. Step the feet slightly together so we can lift that right heel up to the ceiling. And as you exhale, bend the knee, yawn, open the hip, and just pause here for a few breaths. If it's too strong to stay in that down dog position, lower your left knee so you can do the same here on the knee. Just opening up through the hip, dropping that right armpit down a little so it's not lifted. You want to keep the chest pressing to the back of the mat. Flex your right toes. Press your left heel directly behind your toes so it's not swiveling out to the right. 3 deep breaths. Inhale. Exhale. 4, 1. 4, 2. And for 3. We're going to straighten the leg, look forward. We're going to step the foot to the outside of the right hand. And we're going to hold a dragon lunge here. So adjust your back foot nice and wide so you've got a nice long stance. Lower the knee. And this is where you might use your bolster, your block, your props. So if you do have a bolster, the option is to line that up onto your left thigh. And you can come into that nice deep lunge. You can bring elbows down. You can bring blocks. You can support the chin. You can let the head hang.
So just finding that nice deep lunge. And this time if the knee wishes to wing out to the side, you just allow it to, so you can roll onto the outer blade of the foot. So we are holding this nice deep lunge. So we're holding this one, settling and breathing. You might experience this in very different areas of the hips and pelvis. So you might feel it in the right glute, you might feel it more across the front of your left hip. There is no one right answer. Stay connected to each breath. And sometimes we start to carry a lot of tension in the shoulders. Just ensure that you're able to really release that. So even if you're using the hands to support you, maybe even slide them further forward and see if that gives you a sense of maybe coming a little deeper without having to restrict the movement. And then just relax the back toes. If they want to turn in, let them turn in. Your body wishes to rock gently over to one side or the other side. Just explore that. So Yin is all about listening to the body, knowing that the wisdom is within us, feeling that inner strength, that inner guidance. When we are still and quiet, we are able to be more grounded and to make decisions, clear judgments from that place. Soft, smooth breaths. If you'll notice that you're starting to hold the breath, focus on exhaling the breath completely, emptying the lungs, and maybe holding the breath at the bottom for a moment or two. And then as that next nourishing, rich breath in arises, follow it all the way to the top of the lungs, maybe even hold it there for a moment or two. And then as you exhale, what are you letting go of physically, mentally, emotionally? Can you go deeper? If there's more depth, go ahead and explore that now. If there's an excruciating pain in the body, you want to come out of the pose. If it's just that natural muscular discomfort, breathe through that. Trust that you all know your body. So just please be your own inner teacher. Be guided by your own inner light. Ujjayi breath will help, so that sound in your throat. And if you are new to the practice, it's a perfect time to practice it. Breathing in and out. Start to hear this sound as you restrict the glottis. The breath is also known as the breath of victory. It helps us to rise victoriously above our thoughts. Use that breath for 5 more cycles. Just 5 more breaths here. This too shall pass. Don't rush your breaths. Be present and aware with those breaths. So complete your 5 rounds. Take all the time that you need to press up. It's going to be a slow journey. It's taking us a while to get here. So press your hands under your shoulders to come up. Maybe then back onto the bolster, depending on how far you came. And then maybe just start to shift the hips back a little. Some of you might wish to come to hands and knees for a moment. Some of you might wish just to kind of wave the hips a little side to side. And then we're going to come back down onto the belly. So just remove anything from underneath you. And then just come to roll or to come back down onto the belly. So just gently, you can place one hand on top of the other, or head can turn to one side. But just be still. Just notice the sensation, the blood flowing through the body, the hips, the glute, the front of the hip. And just sit with that without having to do anything or be anything other than who you are, which is a light being having a human experience. There is no right, there is no wrong, there is no good nor bad, but thinking makes it so. So our thoughts have manifesting value. So we just be mindful of where we direct our thoughts, particularly around this time. To be kind to one another. To have no judgment for others' actions or choices. Just to be grounded in self. And then just gently from here, slide your hands under your shoulders. Just gently come into a little cobra. Lift yourself up a little, inhale. And as you exhale, just bend the elbows, bring the chest down. Maybe slide the fingers a little closer in towards you. Hug the elbows in. Once again, inhale, cobra. Tops of the feet press, pubic bone presses into the mat. As you exhale, gently take it down. And then again, gently floating up on your in-breath. Taking it down on your out-breath. This time, see if you can slide the hands in a little more. Press yourself. You might not come up as high. Inhale. And then gently exhale to the earth. Pressing to hands and knees, inhale. So we'll meet in child's pose as you exhale. You can stay here still, or you can drop the hips a little from one heel to the other, just as we did before, a little movement from side to side. You can stay here in child's pose, or come to neutral and come to hands and knees. Curl the toes, down dog. You can stay in a down dog, or you can take that flow, bend knees, inhale, ripple forward, come to plank. Do exhale, low plank, knees, chest, chin, or straight leg option. Cobra or up dog, inhale. As you exhale, take it back, downward facing dog. Take 3 deep breaths, inhaling. Exhaling, forward. Full deep breaths. 4, 2, one more deep round of breath. 4, 3. In the knees, lift the heels, inhale, look forward. Maybe walk, step, or if you feel to jump to the top of your mat, come to the top of your mat again. Same, keep your big toe mounds touching. Bring your hands to your shins, press your spine long, inhale. Keep it flat back, bring your hands to your hips, exhale. Rise on up, take a supported back bend, inhale. As you exhale, catch the hand interlock of the hands and then fold forward as you exhale. Hold it here, shape nod the head a little or a lot. Feet are together, it might be a little challenging to balance. Just notice the backs of the legs. This time we're working the shoulders a little as well. So just notice the shoulders, the heel of the hands. Breathing softly in and out. Notice as you breathe in, you lift a little off the thighs. As you exhale, maybe you press the belly to the thighs, forehead to shin. 3 more breaths. Inhale, honor the natural breath. Exhale, maybe you come a little deeper. 1 more round of breath. Exhale, empty the lungs. Bend the knees, drop the hips, release the hands, brush them along the earth. Come to chair pose on your in-breath. Just hold as you exhale, find stillness, soften the shoulders. Reach through the fingertips, draw the belly in, lengthen the tailbone to the earth so we're not swaying through the back, but rather tucking the tailbone. Just breathing softly and gently. Try not to shrug shoulders to ears, but allow them to fall. So the bend in the elbows might help. Take 1 more breath. Finding that inner and outer strength. Inhale, press your palms. Take a little back bend or a big back bend. As you exhale, hands through the midline, fold forward. As you inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, step the opposite foot back, should be the left and the right, or the one that's least familiar. Optional flow, inhale, plank. Notice the heat, the strength, chaturanga, your choice. Inhale, cobra or up dog, feel that back bend, more and more open with each cycle. Exhale, down dog or child's pose. 3 deep breaths, inhale. Exhaling. What are you clearing? What are you releasing?
Hearing that sound, clearing your throat. When you've completed 3 breaths, let's meet in downward dog. We'll come to hands and knees. Step in slightly to lift the left foot, inhale. Bend the knee, yawn, open the hip and pause there. And again, if it's too strong, you're on the right knee, on hands and knees, and just opening that knee. See if you can press your left hand down just as equally as the right. See if you can get your armpits to align so you're not lifting the left. Your right heel presses towards the earth behind you. Rather than spin the right heel out, you want to keep grounded. Breathing in and out. 2 more breaths. One more breath. We're going to straighten the leg, look forward. We're going to step to the outside of the left hand. We're going to come to that lizard lunge or that dragon lunge. The only difference is we call it lizard lunge in Yin Yang, and in the Yin postures, we call it dragon. So this is our dragon series. And then again, find any props. This side's going to feel very different. So go ahead and find about your 60% range. So when we come into these long holds, you don't want to come straight into it too deeply. Time will be the factor here. So just settle somewhere, take a few breaths, let the mind settle. And then notice if you're able to come a little bit deeper with each breath cycle. There is no force. And just settling with an inner smile. Just noticing your body if it wants to lean a little to one side. If you want to flop, just go ahead and enjoy that release. The knee what wishes to wing out. You might be on the outer blade of your left foot. Just relax your back toes. Relax your front toes. Relax your fingers. Even palms facing up will enable you just to be in that sense of open, expansive awareness. Maybe the head hangs heavy. You might even feel the back of the neck releasing. If that's too strong, you can always cup the chin. Just breathing in and out. Just hearing that beautiful rhythmic sound of your breath. And at any time, if you feel challenged, really expelling the breath completely, holding it out for a moment or two, or taking that next nourishing breath in. Trying to hinge your jaw a little more. Maybe release the temples, your hands and knee, the face. You can tap the temples or give them a nice little massage, or even give yourself a little forehead massage, third eye massage, even running the fingers along the brow to the temple. Just give yourself a little self-love, self-massage of the face. That might distract you for a moment or two off the lower part of the body. And I just observe if there's a little more in you to drop in. You might flop. And just let the body rest there in stillness. And once you settle in stillness, give yourself full permission to explore 5 slow, nourishing and cleansing breaths. And again, Ujjayi breath. Hear that sound.
No rush to these breaths. Take all the time that you need to complete them. And then know that it's taken a little while to get here, so it will take a little while to also come out. So don't rush this. When you are ready to transition, you might just start by bringing the hands under your shoulders, preparing to press off your bolster. You might stay here for a moment and just notice what's next for you. Path of least resistance, you might bring that left knee to the right. You might just stay with the legs straight for a moment. You might find stillness here in a tabletop position, or you might just find a little bit of a circling action through the hips. Might feel nice just to find semicircles, full circles. And then just moving that bolster or any of the props from underneath you. We're coming onto the belly once again. Trying to find a place to put it so you can all see me. Just coming back down, stillness. Separate the feet, mat width apart or even wider. Just give yourself space here for the lumbar spine to release. If you do turn the head to one side, go ahead and turn it in the other direction. Just to find balance in the neck. I'm constantly looking at this side so I can see you guys. Breathing in and out. Just feel the whole body settling. Just gently turn the head back to center. Come onto the forearms, come to Sphinx pose. We'll do this without any props for the moment. I'll just line my bolster up in front. If you do have a bolster, just bring it in front. But just come onto the forearms for now. Separate the feet wide. And then bring the soles of the feet together. And then you can stay here if that's enough. If you want to straighten the arms, you can straighten the arms. Or you can bring the arms even further forward and straighten them, or start to walk them in. You might even point the toes together and see if the crown and the toes wish to touch. You can keep walking the hands in. Just enjoy a nice little back bend. Yeah. Might be a little movement of the head, but real gentle. Opening the throat, maybe even just bringing the chin to the chest. And then tilting the chin up to the ceiling a few times. Chin to throat, a little restriction of the flow of air, Jalandhara Bandha. And then the inhalation to lift. And if you are moving, just do that one more time. Chin to chest, exhale the breath. And then inhale, lift. And then gently bend the elbows, come back down onto the belly. Just release the feet wide. So I'm hoping you've all got a bolster or a couple of blocks for this next one. We're going to work into the shoulders a little. So we're going to bring the bolster, I'll show you with the bolster first, in front. And then you can come up and just come into a little bit of a nice deep back bend with the feet wide. If you don't have that, you might have your blocks or something that you've been using. So just take a few deep breaths there. Just get that height. The feet wide gives you space in your lumbar spine. And then just let that chin just drop towards the chest. Try to relax the buttocks and the feet. It appears that most of us are doing a lot of work from home, which I would think would involve a lot more sitting, a lot more hunching over perhaps. So just notice how it feels here in the lower back, lumbar area, the neck, shoulders. Breathing in and out. I'm not going to hold this one for too much longer. So if you feel that you want to come up a little bit higher, you can come into seal pose on the bolster or not. With the hands on the bolsters quite deep. And then when you're ready to very gently come back down, just come back down. We're just going to press back to child's pose. So keep the bolster where it is or the blocks. Keep the knees wide. Just bring the big toe mounds to touch. And then just pause here. Notice the spine releasing. Stillness or movement. You might roll the forehead along the earth. And that might feel really nice. And we're just going to come to down dog if you choose. Curl the toes, lift the knees, down dog, take a little pedal out through the feet, little sway if you choose. The bolster's not disturbing you. You can come forward to a plank. You might take it back to downward dog. You might do that a few times, hinging forward and back. And then you might even take that full flow. We're going to meet on the hands and the knees in tabletop. And then from here, we're keeping the hips in line with the knees. We're going to reach the arms forward. We're going to see if we can get the elbows onto the bolster or our blocks. Allow the heart to melt towards the earth. So heart melting pose. We're going to either keep the palms together reaching forward, or see if you can bring your palms towards the ceiling, or face them down towards the back of your mat, towards your hips. And then find a place with those elbows so you can let the chest come even deeper towards the earth. So you're getting into the arms and shoulders here a little, as well as deep into that lower lumbar area. Probably more the shoulders than the lower back. We've warmed up the spine quite significantly. Just pause there, noticing the tricep area of the body, that whole side waist area of the body. Just breathing in and out. Soft, smooth breaths. And not holding this one for very long, so just allow yourself to feel without resistance, knowing that it will pass soon. I'm going to say there's about another minute here. So no need to count or to be conscious of time, but just be aware of your breaths, your breath cycles, the heart as it melts towards the earth. Anahata, the heart center, melting into Mother Earth, connecting deeply. 5 more breaths. Slow, gentle breaths. And once you complete, you can just see if those arms want to straighten. You can just slide off that bolster. We're just going to release the arms beside the hips. If you need support, bring a block underneath the forehead. But just release the arms beside you. Let the shoulders roll in. Just settling there, relaxing those arms. Notice any sensations in the arms, the fingers, the hands. You might get that sense of pins and needles, perhaps. Don't judge it. Just let it be a sensation in your body. It's not good, it's not bad, it just is. It's just energy flowing, chi, flowing through the channels of the body. And we're going to slowly roll ourselves up to come to sit on our shins. Just let the hands come back behind you, so you're going to roll into the fingertips and onto the palms. Let's just see if you can lift the hips up a little. So noticing the arms. So rather than it being more of a back bend, see if you can feel it more through your triceps, so the fingers are facing your toes. And lifting up a little. If that doesn't work for you, you can stay on the heels and just kind of press the chest forward. Or you can bring 2 blocks under each hand.
and more into the arms than the back bend, but it'll feel different for each of us. And then just gently sit the hips down onto the heels. Come back to neutral. We're just going to slide off our feet. Just come to sit on the earth. And we're just going to bring the legs, they don't have to be extremely wide, but a little bit of width between them. And if you wish to sit up on a blanket or a block, just go ahead and find something to sit on. You might also wish to, option one, is to bring the bolster underneath the knees with the legs still wide and come forward, so there's a little bit more width and a little bit more space for the belly to melt between the thighs. If you don't have a bolster, you can roll up some cushions, or you can even use your blocks. And you can come forward that way. Just let there be, again, that sense of release through your upper body, through your hands, so your palms begin to face upright. If you need support under the forehead, you can bring something underneath the forehead, but see if you can just release the back of the neck in this one. So just really channeling that back fascial line of the body, so really feeling the whole back line. And so that urinary bladder line starts from the center of the eyebrows, one on each side, left and right, and then just travels all the way across the crown, all the way down, through the backs of the legs, into the little toe, the outside of the little toe. And then we have the kidney line, which travels underneath the sole of the foot and then comes across towards the inner ankle, and it does a little circle there. And then it comes all the way up and through. So that's our kidney meridian. So we're getting a little stimulation of both there. Breathing in and out. And you've also got the liver and the spleen on the inside of that leg there as well. So it's just stimulating all of the energy centers in our bodies. Stay with the breath, breathe in and out. If you're noticing that you're holding the breath, there might be tension in the body that you're carrying. So be aware that when you hold your breath, where are you feeling this? Where are you holding that energy? Where can you maybe direct your focus? Unhinge the jaw, soften the eyes. Let there be a sense of ease, soft toes, heels connecting to the earth, whole body melting forward. Gentle breaths for 5 more cycles. Let them be slow, not rushed, nor labored. Take all the time that you need to transition out. Palms will press to begin with. Weight starts to come into the hands first, walking them in. We're going to try not to make any unnecessary movement here other than just to move whatever it is underneath us. You can even keep the legs wide. Just notice what there is behind you. If you're not on your mat, it doesn't matter, but just come to lay down, maybe onto the elbows first, and then just we can move back onto our mat in a moment, but just let this rebound effect flow through your body. Just let there be a sense of stillness, inner and outer. Maybe noticing a fresh flow of blood through the body. And then just start to wriggle yourself a little awake here. If you are directly on your mat and that's where you want to land and stay there. If you didn't land on your mat like I didn't, just come back onto your mat and then just make any movement here before our final stillness. If you wish just to hug the knees in, to take some circles, or to elevate the legs and to circle them. And if you've got some wall space, you might want to come into Viparita Karani to finish your practice, which is legs up the wall, and coming up sideways is the best way. So bringing the hips against the wall sideways, and then just bringing the legs up, and then just allowing that to be your final resting pose. So that's one option. Otherwise, traditional Shavasana on your back. Bolster under the knees is always a perfect suggestion if you've got that, or again using those blocks or a blanket. And then just placing something and draping it over the top of you. So I generally don't play any music because it interferes with my voice, but some of you might have something going throughout your practice. If it's distracting, you can turn it off, or you can find something now just maybe a little bit more suitable. So just come to lay down or come onto the wall. I'll just sit myself up so I can speak directly towards you. And then turn your palms to face upwards, just so the backs of the hands are on the floor. And then notice how your fingers slightly curl inwards. And then can you feel each of your palms and an energy flowing and a heat building in your hands? Just sense what you can experience when you bring your attention and focus to that area. And then see if you can bring that energy up through your wrists. Up through the front of the forearm, the inner forearm to the elbow crease. Just pause there and rest your awareness at your elbow creases. Both left and right, equal awareness. And now bring your awareness from your elbow creases all the way up through your biceps to your armpits. And then from your armpits, just trace a line down the side of your body, really slowly with awareness, to left and right hip bone. And just pay attention to what you feel in the side body between the armpit and the hip. Perhaps a sense of expansion as you breathe in. The ribs separating a little. And then coming back together when you exhale. Still keeping the awareness on the breath. Bring your awareness from your hip, left and right, all the way down or up your leg, depending on if you've got the legs up in the air or extended. Just that out seam from the hip to the outer thigh, to the outside part of the knee, that outer quadricep, the iliotibial band. And then from the knee all the way to the outside of your calf, your gastrocnemius soleus muscle, to the outside of your ankle, left and right. And then from your ankle to the outer blade of both feet to your little toes. Bring awareness to your little toes. And now shift your focus to the next toes across the second last toes. And then across again to those third middle toes. And then in again to those second toes. And then again to the tip of the big toes. And bring your attention to the inner part of the foot, the arch area of the foot, to the inner ankle, to the inner heel. And then just trace that line all the way through the inseam of the inner thigh, from ankle to inner knee, from inner knee all the way into the base of the spine. Just feeling that sense of connection at the base of the spine. As we connect to our Muladhara chakra. And just feel yourself grounded and connected to Mother Earth. And then allow your awareness to travel from the base of the spine, gently up through that central channel, all the way up through each intervertebral disc as you visualize the skeletal structure of your body, the energy perhaps, the unseen, all the way to the back of the neck, the throat area, and all the way from the neck along the back of the head, tracing that line to the very top of the head, your crown chakra, connecting you to divine, to source. And just notice any wisdom, any messages that come through. Pausing there for a moment or two. And then bring your awareness from the very crown of the head down to the space between your eyebrows, so tracing that line across the forehead to the space between the eyebrows, taking an inward journey, gazing deeply within, noticing what is present inside of you. And keep your awareness there at the center of your eyebrows, your center of intuition. Deep inward reflection. Give yourself time to be still, to breathe, to clear, to be this open conduit, to receive the truth from your heart, not the external truth that we hear that doesn't resonate with our soul. We all view the world through a different lens. One is not right, one is not wrong, one is not better, one is not worse. We need to accept that we are all different, unique, individual on our own life path. The only thing that matters is how we treat one another. Are we being kind, respectful, loving, non-harming through our actions and our words? So these are the things that matter most right now, not the facade of what's going on, But we're being asked to step up as a human species, together as one heartbeat. Bring your awareness now from the center of your eyebrows to the space between your breastbone or your heart. Just breathing in and out. Any prayers, come back to your intention, anything that you might wish to send out or to draw in. Breathe that in, send it out. Sometimes we get caught up in that whirlwind. A beautiful analogy I like to use is to be the eye in the storm, just to be the witness. And amongst the seemingly chaotic whirlwind around us, we can always come back home to our heart. Truth lies within. So if you wish to stay as you are and you want to just lay, complete your practice and come out on your own, please do. It's a perfect time slot to just be able to roll over into bed. So my intention for this time slot is to basically not go straight to a phone or to have those external distractions far away from you, so you can just really use this time to be clear and to fall into that perfect blissful sleep as best you can. So if you do wish to come out, you can come out and slowly find a seat or stay as you are. I just want to thank each and every one of you for showing up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is been challenging for each and every one of us. None of us are exempt, so coming together is really important. So if you're sitting, bring your hands to your heart, center of the chest, bowing in gratitude to all of the beauty and the gifts that we do have, and really staying focused on that. So have a beautiful journey ahead. Namaste. So much love. I hope to see you all again next week or Friday morning. So if anyone wants